So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about mixed numbers and improper fractions. We've got 5 things on our agenda. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we're able to define mixed numbers. Next, we'll go over 3 examples of what mixed numbers are. And after that, we're going to go into improper fractions, then go over 3 examples of that, followed by a lesson review coming up on the math review. So what exactly are mixed numbers? Well, they always have a value that's greater than 1. And they consist of 2 different parts. The first part is a whole number. You can tell that it's the whole value because it's the bigger number in the mixed number. And the next part is the fraction. The fraction is written directly next to the whole number. So let's take a look at this example here. As you can see, we have 2 circles. Here's our first circle, and here's our second circle. Each circle has 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of these 4 pieces, how many are shaded? Well, all 4 are shaded. That makes it 4 out of 4, which makes it 1 whole. And that's why in this example, this 1 is our whole number. Let's take a look at this circle. There are 4 pieces, and of the 4 pieces, how many are shaded? Well, just 1. So that makes this 1 out of 4. And this is a fraction. So we've got our whole number here, our fraction here, and together they represent what we have shaded here. We've got 1 whole shaded, and that's this, and our remaining 1 out of 4 pieces is our fraction, part of our mixed number. Here's another example. Remember, every mixed number consists of a whole number as well as a fraction. We've got 3 different circles here, 1, 2, 3. And it looks like these 2 are complete circles. They're full. That means we're going to write 2 as our whole number because all of these circles are completely full. And in this circle here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total pieces. And out of the 8 total pieces, how many are actually shaded? Well, that would be 7 out of the 8. And that makes this fraction 7 over 8. So as a mixed number, I would put my whole number and my fraction together to represent everything here. So we have these 2 full circles represented by our whole number 2. And in this circle that is not complete, out of the 8 pieces, 7 are shaded. Therefore, it's represented by the fraction here, 7 over 8. So the mixed number to represent this value is 2 and 7/8. And here's our last example for mixed numbers. Remember, a mixed number has a whole number and a fraction. So what do you think? We have all these circles here. How many of these circles are full and how many of these circles are not full? The full circles will represent our whole number and our mixed number. And the circles that are not full will be the fraction part of our mixed number. Now, knowing that, what do you think the answer for this question is? Well, we've got these circles here that are full. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full circles. So that means the whole number in our mixed number will be the number 5. And that leaves us with this circle here. And in this circle, how many pieces are there? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3. And of these 3 pieces, how many are shaded? Well, out of the 3, I've got 1, 2. So that means that the fraction here would be 2 over 3. So the mixed number that would represent this example here when I put the whole number and the fraction together, is 5 and 2 over 3, or 5 and 2/3. So now let's take a second to talk about improper fractions. Improper fractions are fractions that are called improper, and they have this name for a specific reason. Improper fractions are fractions that have a value greater than 1. In a fraction, the numerator is supposed to be smaller than the denominator. But in this fraction, or in this kind of fraction, improper fractions, the numerator is actually greater than the denominator. That just means the top is bigger than the bottom. So let's take a look at this example. Each of these circles is cut into 4 pieces. That means our denominator is going to be 4. But how many of these fourths do you see shaded? Well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So therefore, since there are 5 fourths here, as an improper fraction, we would write it as 5 over 4. Here's our next example. Remember, we're writing it as an improper fraction. And since we're writing it as an improper fraction, we're just going to have a denominator and the numerator on top that's greater than the denominator. Well, here's our first question. What do you think our denominator would be? Well, let's think about it. Each of these circles is cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Therefore, my denominator is going to be 8. So that means each of these is 1/8. Well, how many eighths do I have? Well, there's only one smaller piece that's not shaded, and if I got rid of that, I would have 8 here, another 8 here makes 16, then 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Therefore, our improper fraction would be 23 over 8, because each of these is an eighth, and there are 23 of them. And here's our last example. This might look familiar, but the last time we saw this, we were talking about mixed numbers. Here, we're talking about improper fractions. So the first question is, what do you think our denominator will be? Well, each of these circles is cut into 3 pieces. Therefore, our denominator is going to be 3. Now remember, in an improper fraction, the numerator, or the top, is going to be greater than the denominator, which is the bottom. So if each of these is 1/3, how many thirds do you see shaded here? Well, if I take this only piece that's not shaded and throw it away, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So therefore, our improper fraction would be 17 over 3. So what did you think of this lesson on improper fractions and mixed numbers? We hope it's a little bit more clear. Mixed numbers have a whole number and a fraction, and improper fractions are only a fraction, but it's a special kind of fraction where the top is bigger than the bottom. So what did we learn from this lesson? A fraction with a value greater than 1 whole is called an improper fraction. Mixed numbers represent values that are greater than 1. The two parts of a mixed number are the whole number and the fraction. So if you understand the difference between improper fractions and mixed numbers now, make sure you smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more of our videos coming out in the future. Thanks for watching.